There are some words we carry for a lifetime, not being able to say them out loud. Sometimes we don't even know what words to say anymore. The feelings of this ache, that pain, that wound, and waiting with a hope that never quite settling, never quite learn how to rest. The relationship with our mothers. I think it is the first place where we experience love, where we're supposed to feel safe, warm, and protected. But when it wasn't like that, when it is chaotic, distant, cold, unpredictable, or even violent, there's something very deep in us we learned from that experience. And we speak, we express in a different ways from the others. Maybe it is not even consciously. I don't mean to blame. I am a woman myself. But in our body, in our nervous system, when we go through a situation like that, we learn to look at ourselves and ask silently, am I wanted? Am I chosen? Am I lovable? I know it is not a few examples, a rare story. It is far more common than we like to admit. Some of us, oh gosh, we grew up in homes when love was conditional or absent. A place, a home. This love arrived mixed with fear, criticisms, or silence. And so, it is where we as a child, we learn to go up very early. We learn to read moods, manage our emotions, and sometimes disappear in order to survive. I remember my childhood. I remember the feelings that I always carry with me until in the last few years in my life, when I become mother myself. So that was the moment I realized, with my baby in my arms, I realized that the little girl in me, trying to understand what happened, that little girl, she doesn't say, My mother, she couldn't love me. That little girl was saying to herself, there must be something wrong with me. And that feelings, that belief following us for a long time to come. It follows us into adulthood, into our friendships, into our partnerships, in any way that we learn to tolerate distance, neglect, or emotional unavailability. It feels familiar, isn't it? And this understanding, it didn't come to me quickly. It took me many years, many cycles of suffering, many moments of trying harder, loving more, waiting longer, hoping that one day, somehow, the love that I deserve, that I desire, would arrive. So at some point, I had to gather that little girl inside me. That little girl who keep hoping. That little girl who keep asking without sound. There's no word come out from her mouth. The moment I decided I have to face the truth, it was so painful. But with time, it was also liberating. I accept. I was never chosen. I was not wanted. My mother, she was pregnant with me when she was only a young girl herself, 18 years old. And she couldn't bring herself to love me, to be the mother that's supposed to be, to give love, to protect. So I was not loved in a way a child needs to be loved. When we accept that, when I accepted that as a fact, I don't need to punish anyone. It is a conscious decision to free myself from this shadow, from this wound. The absence in my childhood, it has already shaped me in so many ways for so many years. It shaped my confidence in relationships, my trust in love, and my sense of safety in intimacy. I swear to God, especially in relationship with a partner. By accepting the fact of this mother's wound, I think it is where the story often gets misunderstood. Because when I name it, I name the truth. It is not about blaming. but to liberate myself. By becoming a mother myself, it changed the way I understand this completely. It might not erase the pain I had as a little girl, but it helped me so much to understand in a context. Because when we become parents ourselves, we realize a truth that is very simple, very humbling. Each of us, we are human before we are mothers. And, my friend, humans are not perfect. By no means. It doesn't remove the accountability from our parents, mother or father. But it only reminds us they act from where they are, how they can understand. It might be limited. They might be wounded themselves, and their maturity may be unfinished themselves. They just found themselves to be parents at one point in their life. What I know with absolutely certainty is the love I have for my children is also the lessons I learned from my relationship with my parents, especially with my mother. I used to tell them when they were little, when they were young, that maybe I am not perfect. I am certainly not perfect. And I will make mistakes as I have made mistakes. But my love for you, to my children, is so deep, so profound. There's nothing, there's no one can ever change that. That love for them is forever. That love will never disappear when things get difficult. That love will forever there, even when emotions are inconvenient. So by learning to give love so unconditionally, I also learn what I never received, and now with forgiveness, not only to my mother, to our parents, forgiveness also for myself. It is not an excuse, that's forgiveness. It is not even a reconciliation at all cost. But that forgiveness liberates my heart for me and my children. think about it, if we spend our lives looking only backward, blaming, arguing internally, or replaying what shouldn't have been, we are only bounding ourselves to the past. And then what? Are we free? Are we healed? No, we are not. So forgiveness, it doesn't mean we keep exposing ourselves to those harm if our parent hasn't changed. And we don't even pretend the story is different than how it was. It only means we stop demanding from the past what it cannot give. And in my own experience, when last year my mother, she had a stroke, I showed up. I did what needed to be done. I support her through the hospital stages, and I helped her settling back to her home. All this came from love. There's no more anger in me. But at the same time, I know I cannot change my mother, especially when she is already in that stage, so old, so fragile. Whatever she says, whatever she does, it only belongs to her. That is just a reflection how she treats herself, not necessarily about me. So once that is understood, the arguing, the demanding of reasons stopped. The suffering softens. That boundaries I put between me and my mother is an act of self-respect, not punishment. I accept what is. I accept how she is. At the same time, I protect my heart. So that love I once waited for so long never arrived. And now I learn to give it to myself, to give it to my children. And that is the moment victimhood dissolves slowly, quietly. It is my choice, my conscious choice. So we are not responsible for what happens to us as children in the past. But we are responsible for how we carry it forward. Loving freely, without asking permission from the past, It is one of the most radical choices we can ever make. Even though sometimes the word, "Mommy, please," it never gets answered. Not from her, but from the adult in me. I am answering these little girl questions with truth, with so much care, and a very big hug that little girls need. And the healing begins. From my heart to yours, Genevieve.